welcome into a live post-game show of House of Horns. My name is Victor Corona, aka Victor Producer, and joining me from SoFi Stadium is Gilbert Manzano, who does it for MMQB Sports Illustrated. Gilbert, um, not a great way to end a three-game winning streak for the Rams here as they lose at home to the Dolphins 23-15. A lot of mistakes, as we have there on the banner. They kicked themselves here. I think they are the ones that pretty much gave away this loss, as opposed to them losing this game, I guess, or the Dolphins winning this game.
Yeah, this was a really weird game, and I'll tell you from a writer standpoint, I did not know what the hell to talk about here because even on the Dolphins side, what did they really do special to win this game? To hold the Rams to what? No touchdowns offensively. It was just 5 field goals from like Joshua Carter, like you mentioned. So and I want to say in the first half, Victor, I thought the defense up front was going to come alive and just make life miserable for Tua. That did not happen in the second half. The offense never woke up. You have Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Jonah Jackson, Steve Avila. And you don't score a touchdown. Mike McDaniel, the head coach of the Dolphins, I think this is according to him. He said that might have been the second time Stafford has been held out of the end zone. Like their offense, since he's been with the Rams in LA. So second time ever that's happened that no touchdown at all offensively in the Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford era. That's according to Mike McDaniel. He's not too sure, but he was impressed about his defense. He was saying like, how did Miami defense shut them out? And yeah, it was a dud. I'm sure a lot of people here were surprised about that pretty flat performance on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I mean there is a lot to get into here, Gilbert, because there was a lot of problems offensively, and as you mentioned, this was the first time that the Rams have not scored a touchdown since that Brett Ripken game where he came in to play against the Green Bay Packers, Gilbert. And as you mentioned there, I mean, the Rams went 1-10 on third downs in this game. That's not going to get it done. This is Stafford's fourth game this season without a touchdown pass. There was a lot of things here that I think offensively you can point to, and we'll get to the comments. They continue to come in, and they're rightfully frustrated. And I think a big emphasis, Gilbert, and as we when we go through the comments, is the offense. A lot of people are disappointed with this offense. You get 5 field goals from Josh Carty, a lot of just self-induced mistakes in this game, Gilbert, that just continues to kill this offense. I kept mentioning, we brought it up on the pre-game show. One of the things that I've kind of been disappointed outside of the red zone with this offense is that there's not any explosive plays outside. Like I said, we mentioned it. Demarcus Robinson touchdown in overtime last week was one of those explosive plays. But in this game, I kept hearing Joe Buck saying, "Oh, that's the as you got later into the game was like, oh, that's the longest play of the game for the Rams." And you can't continue to live that way. The defense I thought played great. Like outside of them giving up that touchdown on the first drive, I thought they played really well. They Chris Shula's defense has really stepped up. That front again, 3 sacks from those young guys, Byron Young, Kobe Turner, and Jared Verse. Man, he put on a show there. I know there's been talk about who's going to be the rookie of the year. I mean, at this point, it's Jared Verse to lose, but yeah, there's a lot to be disappointed here, and it starts with with the offense, Gilbert. I don't know where you go, and I just thought, those two guys that came back. I know there's going to be a lot of questions about why would you take out Bo Limmer. Hey, you paid these guys a bunch of money, in Jonah Jackson, but I just don't understand the shuffling as with him starting at center. So I know that's a lot of excuses, but that's just that's been the problem with this offense, Gilbert.
Yeah, I thought the defense up front played better, but I expected more in the second half. Like you faced one of the worst offensive line that Miami has, and I want to give them credit for adjusting and not having Jared Verse and Kobe Turner be all over it too, because man, the ending of the first half, Victor, was pretty ugly for Tua. He had the interception, the fumble. Jared Verse got the strip sack. I want to see on the interception of Christian Roseboom, where Tua just lowered his head. I don't know why he did that. Kyron Williams fumbled on the next play. Like they couldn't capitalize on these mistakes here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna harp on the defense, but I thought the entire team in the second half didn't do anything. I really thought the defense was gonna bail out the offense, but it shouldn't be that way. You're right, Victor. It's a young defense. They can't do what they did in Seattle every single week. When you have all the pieces healthy and you do that against the Miami Dolphins defense that we criticized earlier in the week, remember the Tennessee Titans dropped 30-something points on this defense, and you could
Yeah.
have with Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. So it was a strange game right there. And then in a week where the 49ers look like they're back to full strength, in a week where the Cardinals dominated the Jets, we'll see what happens with the Seahawks when they come back from the bye week. But it's a pretty deflating, loss. I'm not gonna worry about it too much in terms of the big picture because the race is not over at all in the
Yep.
NFC West. But this was an ugly game, a game you might look back at in the standings in December and say that game right there that would have definitely helped you out to make the playoffs or whatever. But I don't know, Victor, here with the Rams here, are they just an average team that can't get consistent or can't get hot? Like we're expecting them to get better like they did last year down the stretch. Is that maybe us focusing too much on last season and not worrying about this year? So obviously, as football writers and analysts, we got to dig deeper into why this happened, or it was just maybe one bad game. Maybe this might not happen again here, Victor. But yeah, I really wanted to see the defense carry the offense because they couldn't figure it out. But again, it's not all on them. But credit to Mike McDaniel. They had an adjustment. They made plays with Malik Washington, Jonnu Smith, and Achan didn't even have a bunch of rushing yards, but they just found a way to get the ball out quickly with Tua. But it just nothing happened. There was no big change in plays. There was no explosion like you mentioned, Victor. So I'm left looking for my answers here. As I keep trying to think what really happened, it was just a bad game.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and honestly, for the first half, I this looked like a Thursday night football game. I just didn't understand all the turnovers that were going on both sides. I was like, the Dolphins were keeping the Rams in this game, and I thought, okay, McVay's gonna make that second half adjustment like he's been doing, and just never came. Gilbert, I saw them do a couple of 12 personnel where they were really I thought, running the ball was a good thing to start the second half, but not establishing the run early in the first half was, I thought, I thought it took them a while to get there, and plus you also add Kyron Williams with the fumble, as you mentioned. That also doesn't help. He only got 15 carries in this game. As I said, if the Rams are going to win games, he needs to get more than 20 carries, and when he doesn't, this is the result. This is what you end up getting. And again, with the red zone issues, once they got down there, and just settling for field goals. Yeah, it's just it's been a bad goal lately for this offense, and we can make the excuse, as you talked about, in terms of maybe incorporating these two guys back, Steve Avila and Jonah Jackson, is gonna kind of take them a little bit of time to get back into it. I thought they'd be ready to go, but I was wrong there, and I just figured, hey, these guys know what they're doing, and but missing all that time can sometimes affect you. And I guess that's all I'm gonna say about, in terms of that, because I honestly don't have any answers as to why they play so poorly, that offensive line. And then Joe Noble getting beat on the right side too, Gilbert. That was,
Yeah.
I think they really missed Rob Hibbins, because I mean, yeah, Joe Noble kept getting beat, and he gave up a couple sacks there.
Yeah, that wasn't a good defensive front that they faced. Like even Chop Robinson, the rookie, finally stepped up for the Dolphins. I know Jerry Rice got to know with his chop celebration, but he got a sack there. Calais Campbell got a sack. That was a nice play for Javon Holland, the safety sack there. So yeah, they got a lot of pressure, and you thought they would play better because it is Jonah Jackson and Steve Avila, but like maybe it is chemistry, Victor, like you mentioned. Maybe it's the tweaking of the center and the guard. I don't understand that at all. You got Jonah Jackson in free agency because he was a very good guard for the Detroit Lions, and now you want to change him to center, who
Yeah.
who Steve Avila spent the entire offseason learning how to play center for this move, and then you flip flop. And then yeah, maybe it could be like they could probably say, well, they've been planning for this for months. Well, they also haven't been practicing for months, so
You know.
there's not really an excuse there. So, but hey, Sean McVay gets paid a bunch of money to decide that, not us. So it just didn't work tonight for him.
Yeah, and I mean, when you do something like this, you're always gonna second guess, especially when you don't win. Had you
Yeah.
won, you can be like, yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter. All right, Gilbert, let's get to these
Hmm.
comments. I really want to. Everybody's been really involved, which I appreciate. We had a bunch of comments. I want to give a shout out to everybody who's in the comments right now. Thank you so much. I know it's a tough loss, and I know you have a lot to say. So please let us know how you're feeling after this loss. But let's start off with Delbert. He came in and left a message right as I was working on banners here. He says, Jeff Fisher days brand of football. This is terrible in a lot of ways. Uh, Only one way to go now, up and run the division. So, yeah, they're gonna have to go on a run here. I don't think the season's done, Gilbert.
Yeah.
They're still in it. I feel like they're just gonna have to, you can't have losses like this going forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you get the Eagles next week, I think, right? Sunday night, is it? No, so yeah, Sunday Night Football next week. Yeah, or
No,
week
they go.
week
They
11.
have. Yeah, they have the Patriots, the Saints, the Bills, and the Eagles, as you said, coming up in the next couple weeks.
Okay. Well, next week is, I want to say the Eagles are the week after then, because they're not.
Yeah,
I just saw them promoting it right here. That's why. Oh, okay. So it's the Patriots and then
yeah,
the Eagles. So
yeah. It's a
yeah,
10 a.m. game. They're going to the Patriots have won what it seems like two out of the last four
I was gonna
games.
say,
So
is that even a get right game anymore? Like
no,
but then again, the Bears are the Bears. The Bears lost to the Patriots. The Patriots did beat the Bengals. The Patriots also beat the Jets. Are the Rams better than the Jets, Bears, and Bengals? I don't know. It's tough to say tonight. So even that game is not a gimme. And then yeah, you play the Eagles coming back home here. So you definitely got to get that game in New England, because beating the Eagles right now, I don't see it happening right now.
yeah. But good thing it's at home. We'll see, and
Hmm.
we'll see what happens. The worm says, I'm way too drunk and pissed off to join you guys live. My Star Wars Rambros. What an abortion of a performance. Avila and Jackson return and things get worse. An epic nationally televised embarrassment. So, not happy from the worm there, and rightfully so. ESG says, I don't know what to say. We are as healthy as we've been all year, so we can't use the injury excuse anymore. Yeah, I mean you're right, ESG. I mean this, I guess the only thing we can say is maybe not enough practice time to get ready for this game, but at the same time, you got to go with the guys you're paying. So I understand why they did this, Gilbert.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. Like you're healthy and you still can't do anything right.
Yeah. He also says, yeah, we were missing Havenstein,
Mm.
but he is a tackle. Stafford was getting attacked from the interior, and we talked about how good the offensive line had been during the winning streak. They hadn't allowed, they only allowed one sack. In this game, they allowed three, so that was a big
Thought I saw
difference.
four.
Four,
Yeah, four.
four. It was four. And then Daniel Calderon says Limmer needs to start over Jackson. So people are already they're done with Jackson, who signed a big contract. But as I
Sheesh.
said, I don't blame people for that. I just yeah, and then some of the snaps were pretty bad, Gilbert. I mean, the shotgun snaps from him, a couple of them, one of them did go over his head. A
Yeah,
couple of them
yeah,
almost did.
yeah. I
Yeah.
remember it went to like midfield, right? And they went
Hmm.
backwards. So yeah, that was a weird game.
Yeah. ESG says, can you imagine what Herbert would do with this type of offense with the Chargers? He's doing so much with less than the Rams. Now, I mean,
It got to the point where I'm talking to reporters going to the locker room saying like the Chargers are better than the Rams. So yeah, they're doing better
yeah,
right
things have really flipped. I mean, it's been going back and forth here, and yeah, I would say that's about right.
now.
The warm, thank you for the $10. He says,
Yes, the worm.
I canta no llores, Rams cabrones.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, give us money when you guys are sad.
Yeah, thank you, the worm. He's. I think he was the first person who gave us money last season too, Gilbert. When we
Yeah, yeah.
finally,
Shout out to the
yeah.
worm,
So
the
so
OG.
shout out to the worm. He's the one that got it. You got your tocayo here.
I won the bet.
He,
I
he
won the bet.
wants you. Yeah, he's got to buy some stuff from us
Well,
from
he
the.
already did. I just saw my phone that he bought the
Ah, there we
hoodie.
go,
Shout out to
Jorge.
you, Jorge, for being a man of your word. I did not picture it going this way. That the Rams were going to be winners in a close game, but no, it did not happen. So I got 7 points spotted. So technically, what was the game? What was the line here? 8 points. So
Yeah,
the Dolphins won by 15 points, Jorge. So
yeah.
take that, Jorge. But yes, you bought a hoodie. Thank you for buying that and supporting the Compas on the Beat merchandise. So that money goes to New Orleans for Super Bowl Radio Row. So thank you for that, Jorge.
Yeah, we appreciate that. He said Mike
Mm,
McMuffin cooked.
yeah, he
So
did.
I mean, he did a good job here in this game. Daniel Calderon. I didn't even watch the game. Was at Universal Studios. Glad I didn't, because I would be pissed. We did not score. Nope, did not score a touchdown in this game, Daniel. It was really bad for the Rams office in this game. He also says, "Is it me or does Williams always fumble when we have the momentum?" It seems like it, honestly. Like it's been about 4 games this season. I feel like Gilbert where they get the ball and he fumbles and the momentum. It's either him or Stafford. It feels like.
Yeah, no, it happens way too many times. That is kind of a weird coincidence there. And then they even got Blake Corum involved early in the game, and then that disappeared too. But yeah,
Yeah. ESG says, I don't know. I think there's a reason why the Lions didn't re-sign Jonah Jackson. Like I said, Gilbert,
it does
people,
happen.
yeah, I mean, they're not happy with Jonah Jackson. I mean, you just gotta give him some time, let him adjust to, going back to center. The coaches know what they're doing. I don't like to, you know, um, I'm not a kind of person that I'm going to criticize them. They're the ones being out there in practice. I would ask them why the switch? Why did you go from, having them at center, having Avila play center during training camp and then the switch at the last minute.
I
So,
want to
and I
say
know
I want to say reporters did ask, but I was in the middle of writing when the response came, so I couldn't give you a good answer for that. And I went to
Yeah,
Miami.
no,
So
and he said that they just felt like with Avila, it gives them a better chance with the running game. But
hmm,
still,
I don't
it's
know.
just weird.
Yeah,
ESG says, I think the rental adjust the line and put Avila at center. Um, I Let us
rental.
know what you meant there.
Yeah,
The Rams will adjust. I think the Rams will adjust the line and put Avila at
yeah,
center.
probably type.
I Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I you would think that Limmer would be at center, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I think not having Havenstein in this game really hurt them, honestly. But we
Yeah,
will see what
I
happens.
think it's safe to say that Joe Nopum is not the guy to be
Yes.
starting. He's a good backup, but not to be a starter.
Yeah, you're right. Jorge Rodriguez says Jonah here would be better than Jonah Jackson.
Hey, Jorge, you need a new photo, by the way. I don't know that was part of the deal, but
Yeah.
you gave us your money, so I won't
Yeah,
kick
he
you
says, "Welcome to House of Therapy." Yes, this is your therapy here. Gilbert, you should rep the Compas merch at the stadium. Same with Eb Dizzle. I think he's talking about Fernando.
Yeah, we should. I don't really care about the dress code here, but whatever.
Yeah, Jorge says Dan should get a custom Compas on the Beat Cowboys hat too.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
I would. Delbert says, when they played Hurry Up There were a different team. Let Stafford call the plays now.
that.
So he's right. When they were in a hurry up offense, like in that 2 minute, that was the best they looked. Whether it was at the end of the set, at the end of the first half, and then when they were trying to go in late in the game, Gilbert,
But they
maybe they
still
need
couldn't punch
to.
it in though. They got to the red zone and still couldn't do it.
True.
But
Yeah. Well,
they
then
were
they had to
better
kick
than
the
before. Yeah,
then they had to kick the field goal. So make sure you go and support the merch, support the network, I should say, by checking out the merch. And then Jorge over here is giving us he went $10 and won. So
look at that.
thank you, Jorge, for that. We
Jorge,
really,
loses a bet and he pays beyond what he's expected to pay. So I
yeah,
like that.
yeah. But Gilbert, just give me, what was just, you know, you said you had some conversations there with reporters. What's the feeling in terms of the Rams? Like, how are people feeling about the Rams after this loss?
Honestly, people are just like, "What the hell was that?" It was a lot of "What do we write about? What just happened?" Because, like, again, the Dolphins, yeah, credit for the win, but they didn't really do anything special. Like Tyreek Hill, I know he had a wrist injury, but he had what 3 catches for 16 yards, and then the one touchdown that he caught was for 1 yard. I think John Smith set up that touchdown because I think he had like a catch and run 33 yard.
Hmm.
reception. Jaylen Waddle didn't do anything besides that first drive where he broke free in the secondary. Like, I honestly thought the secondary, if the Rams were going to lose to the Dolphins, it would be the secondary. But they kind of held their own, downfield. Besides that one play to Jaylen Waddle on the first drive, nothing really happened explosive. There was a broken tackles on the Jonnu Smith play. There was an end around for Malik Washington to end that first drive. A lot of stuff pretty much happened in the first drive, and then a bunch of Jason Sanders field goals. So I think Jason Sanders he's a veteran, and so shout out to him, for his service. And it was his day today to get a bunch of field goals. So uh, it was Sanders and Cardi going back and forth with field goals, and it was just kind of a snooze fest. And
Yeah.
once the Dolphins got like a double-digit lead, like it never really felt like the Rams were gonna make it interesting. There were so many times they got it down to one score, 8 points, one possession, whatever the case is. And Tua, to his credit, got a nice drive. I think with 5 minutes to go to get it one more field goal to make it back to a two-possession game. That's when you kind of knew it was over. But it was just a weird game. And then on the Dolphins front, like, yeah, they're 3-6. Like, but can they make the playoffs? I guess it's like kind of like, what do you even like take out of this game besides you did it without needing to have the deep balls for Jaylen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. But again, I think people were more shocked. A lot of people were yawning. A lot of people looked up at the scoreboard like, "Oh, the game is almost over, and it's nothing. Nothing has happened." So it was just one of those games you want to forget very quickly if you're a Rams player or a Rams fan.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a lot of celebrities there, but I
Oh
did
yeah, imagine
see.
coming to that game and you wasted your time.
Yeah, I know. I did see a tweet from Albert Breer where he said on
Mm.
TV it feels like it's a church. Did it feel
Yeah,
like?
yeah, it was pretty quiet. And, I'll say for the Rams, they came out and supported. I say it was 60-40 Dolphins fans. Like, I think that movie, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, really got a lot of Dolphins fans from the 90s because I saw a bunch of Dan Marino jerseys everywhere here in
Yeah,
LA. And I'm like, oh, like, remember we talked about it, Victor, about, not being one of those winter cities where transplants come over. So I didn't expect to see too many Dolphins fans, but there was a good amount. And I think most of them were like, Dan Marino fans. But I say it was about 60-40 LA Rams fans. Like, but then when the Dolphins were scoring, what was it really to celebrate? It wasn't like a big touchdown bomb to Tyreek. Tua looked pretty bad in the first half. He did make adjustments in the second half with short throws, quick throws, but there wasn't much to be excited about for Dolphins fans to be loud. Like, it wasn't like what the Raiders takeover. It wasn't the Chiefs takeover. It wasn't uh, who else comes? The Packers, the
the
Vikings,
Steelers or the
Steelers,
Packers.
all these teams with cold weather or big followings on the West Coast. That wasn't the case here tonight. So it was a little quiet. And then the Rams fans who did, I think there was more Rams jerseys. I could safely say that today. They had nothing to cheer about. It
Yeah,
wasn't loud. It wasn't very exciting. So I think just being a dud of a game, it's not surprising that it was very quiet. So yeah, I kept telling myself, man, I need coffee, but I'm like, I don't want to drink coffee this late. I try not to
yeah.
drink coffee after 12 noon or whatever. But I needed it. It wasn't a good game.
Yeah, honestly, my the highlight of the game, if I'm being completely honest, is watching Mookie. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, Mookie
Mookie
being
was
there.
there, so
Well, for me, it was actually I thought Aaron Donald being there with his family was
yeah, I thought that
was
was really
pretty
cool.
cool. And I hear at the crowd. I know they didn't show it in the broadcast, but they showed him during one of the third downs in the first quarter, and he was like getting like the crowd pretty hyped up, and they got loud for that. Other than that,
Wow.
it wasn't that loud.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't blame Ram fans for being quiet in this game. They weren't given much outside of the defense. The defense, I was gonna say, we've been critical of the linebackers. Rosemoon played his best game of the season, and they wasted that, and so that was pretty bad. I mean, you don't want to see that. Um, you want to give people a reason. And you were coming in with the 3 game winning streak. You had hope in this game now. You can make a run at the playoffs and you can still do that, but to just come out flat like that is just, especially with the crowd here in LA, you need to give them a reason to, be excited about. And if you don't give them that, it's not going to get them hyped. And it was just as you said, a snooze fest for a lot of the fans, I'm sure. If you were at the game, let us know. I want to know, how you guys felt there. Was it on the offense? Why wasn't there as much energy? Was there a reason why? And it's Monday Night Football, it's Veterans Day. You would think that people, but as you said, it has to do with the product on the field. If
Yeah,
they don't give you a reason to get amped up, it's
yeah.
hard for yourself to get amped up.
Vikings Rams was such a different feel than tonight.
And it was a Thursday night game too, Gilbert.
That was
Like
so much
that's
better. That
crazy.
one felt like a big time game because Puka's return and Cooper Cup's return. The Vikings being what 5-1 at that point, it felt like a big time game. This one did not.
Yeah. ESG says I don't think the Dolphins are for real, but only time will tell. I think
Yeah,
it's going to be hard for them to make the playoffs just because now they're 3-6. I don't think they can afford more than 3 losses. Uh,
maybe in the
yeah,
seventh seed, unless like somehow the Bengals turn it around. But right now the
right,
Broncos are 5-5, and the Dolphins are what 3-6. They're one game and a half behind, and
right.
there's nothing wild. But and I don't see the Broncos holding on to it. But you're 3-6, man. Who cares?
Yeah,
you're not a good
honestly,
team.
and we'll talk about it tomorrow on Four Copas, and that'll be my takeaway. But I think the first 6 seeds in the AFC are pretty much
Yeah,
locked up.
I'm with you. Yeah,
And then it's who gets the 7 seed, and it's between the Broncos, the Bengals, and I guess now the Dolphins. But
maybe
we'll
even I
see.
wouldn't say that. Honestly,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't believe in the Colts. I don't. The Bengals maybe, but
no,
I want them to go away. I don't believe in the Jets for sure. I'd
yeah,
rather have the. I think I have more favored. I favor the Dolphins more than the Jets. That's for sure too.
yeah, yeah. That'll be a good question. Is who do you want to see as the 7 seed? The Bengals, the Broncos, or the Dolphins?
It might have to be. It might have to be the Bengals, Victor. But they're so annoying. They have no defense. But yeah,
Yeah. All right. The worm here says, just got an intense Rams nightmare and woke up. Let's call it spade a spade. Call out the coaching of McVay. He's a great public speaker, but look at his post Super Bowl record. Yeah, I mean, look, the other thing people have to keep in mind, I think expectations. I warn people this before the season is like you have to know what the realistic expectations is. You lose Aaron Donald at the before the season, and just be as I said, they got to the playoffs a year ahead of time. I think you need to let this thing marinate and let us see how it ends up. I think a lot of people are upset because of it. And you have every right to be critical of the offense. The offense was not supposed to be like. Remember, coming into the season, Gilbert, we talked about the Rams are going to have to outscore teams because that defense isn't going to be good. It's actually kind of flipped now. Like the defense is actually, doing their job. It's the offense that's letting this team down right now.
yeah, it's getting to the point where I want the Rams defense to do more because the offense is not doing anything. So
Right.
that tells you a lot. I have more belief in the Rams defense right now than I do the offense. And maybe that's me taking in too much about one bad game because they played okay, I guess, in Seattle. They were very excellent in the Minnesota game. But yeah, I think the defense has been better the past 2 weeks, and I think we can safely say that, right?
Yeah. No, since the bye week,
Yeah,
Gilbert. I
that's
mean,
good. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to take away from the Raiders game just because we know how bad the Raiders offense has been, but when you do it against a good offense, with the Vikings, and then you do it against the Seahawks, yeah, and then today, I mean, the Dolphins had been scoring with Tua in the game. They had scored over 27 points. So to be able to keep them at bay here in this game, I thought that was impressive. So yeah, the defense is doing their job. I think it's more on the offense, and everybody has a right to be critical of the offense. And yeah, the Worm says the Rams have a horrible losing record versus Miami. It's crazy. Yeah, I saw something. I didn't put too much stock into it, but somebody had left us a comment on Compas on the beat about it. Like I think they were the Dolphins. I think were 12-1 coming into this game in their history, which was crazy.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
yeah. Last
I
one
gotta read the
here
press
is from
release.
ESG Gilbert. What do you guys think about McVay hiring an offensive coordinator to help him with the red zone problem? Gilbert, you've been talking about you wrote a story last year about this in terms of that one of the things you would like for the NFL to do is allow, if you have a head coach, you should allow your offensive coordinator to call plays. I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, I don't. I know that Sean McVay is good about doing that in the preseason, letting his coordinators actually call plays. But I don't know if I ever see that day coming. Like he got this job because he's an offensive, guru, I guess, or genius, whatever you want to call him, and he won a Super Bowl doing that. It's probably gonna take a couple more losing seasons for him to even go that route. They haven't got to that point. Obviously, 2022 was a really rough year, but then they did better 23 and 24. It's kind of been in the middle of those two seasons, right? So I think maybe don't hold your breath for that, or maybe wait for a couple more losing seasons, which I think you don't want to see. It would not be worth it, I feel like. But yeah, I think that's something he fully he has a lot of confidence in those skills there. And I want to say I don't think I've ever seen a press conference where people grill him about maybe giving up the play calls. Maybe that could come one day. I don't think we've gotten to that point yet, but I don't think people around here are making that an urgent thing or make it an urgency. I know fans here, because we have the show here,
Yeah,
definitely want to talk about that, but it has not even made it to the press conferences, and I think it's going to take like a really bad funk without injuries. Like if they do what they do today with the full roster that's healthy, then I think reporters start asking about it, because also you got to pick and choose. You can't be asking super things just to ask. But honestly, it's starting to get to the point where maybe it's not a dumb question.
yeah, no,
But what I'm saying, he won't even think about it. But first, we need to get to a point where people are asking him about it, and maybe that could come. But I don't think we're there yet. At 4-5 and in a wide open NFC West, I don't think it's going to come anytime soon.
yeah. I mean, and one of the things I've been, harping on, I know, we'll get into it tomorrow when it comes to the Chiefs. The Andy Reid hasn't been a really good play caller for a while now, Gilbert. I mean, if the Chiefs didn't have Patrick Mahomes to bail them out on third down, we'd be talking about the same thing. But because they won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, winning fixes a lot of things. But you also have to look at the facts there now, Gilbert. I mean, this offense has only scored one touchdown in the first quarter all season long, Gilbert. And so when you start losing games because of your offense, because of the thing that you're known for, that's when people start to ask you those questions. And so right now it's a little quiet on that front, but I feel like if this continues, those questions are going to start to get louder and louder as we go forward. But I mean, yeah, you have to, you have every right to be critical in that situation, especially if you're a fan. As a reporter, it's a little bit different because you kind of have to you have to choose wisely when you do those when you ask those kind of questions.
Yeah, it's hard to compare somebody to Andy Reid because he has three Super Bowls, but it's kind of not far fetched. But because Sean McVay has one, and when you have that one shiny trophy, people let you get away with more. And
Hmm.
again, I'm not trying to say I want to make this a thing or a narrative. Narrative. I don't think I believe in that yet. I think he's proven himself, especially what he's done with such a young roster, a bunch of rookies last year. The way
Yeah,
he utilized Puka Nakua, the way he's utilized Kyron Williams. I'm not there yet. I just know that people ask that question a lot. And when you have the Super Bowl, when you have a lot of people who like you in the media, when you have a reputation to be known as an offensive guru or whatever, as a worm pointed out there that I said,
yeah.
it takes a lot. But I think games like today, if they happen
There
often
you go.
with a healthy roster and a good quarterback and your offensive line's intact, those things will come. But yeah, like Andy Reid has, Patrick Mahomes to lean on. He has a good defense to lean on. He has an experienced roster that knows how to rise to the occasion in clutch time to lean on. A good special teams to lean on, as we saw in Denver. So you're right, Victor. Winning cures all the issues because who cares when you're winning and constantly doing it. But at 4-5, it does at least begin to start a conversation.
Yeah, and then the worm says offensive genius or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah,
Laugh out loud,
I,
Gilbert.
I I think I think saying stuff like that is definitely. I feel silly. Like you could say an expert, but
Right.
genius
Yeah.
takes a lot.
Yeah. You got to keep doing it for a number of years, and I understand where people are coming from. Deborah Salgado says lately McVay's offense breaks momentum. He overthinks now too much, so that could be something too, Gilbert.
But just 2 games ago, we were happy that
Yeah,
he did well with Puka Nacua and Cooper Cup. So like, it's
yeah,
just I get it. There's maybe 2 bad games and 1 good game, but it needs to get to a point where there's 4 games in a row of just crap.
yeah. They just need to be a little bit more consistent. Evan Hod says you guys are doing a great job. How can I send you some money?
Evan, you can if you could figure out the super sticker or the super like, you know how people highlight the comments here. That's one way to contribute. That'd be great, Evan. If not, you can check out the merch site that we highlighted in one of the comments. I could do it again here for you.
I got
And
you. Hold on.
yeah, and then yeah, we have the banner here, Evan. For the merch site, by the way, for everybody listening, you know, we haven't got a chance to reload on sizes. We're trying to, you know, get rid of the first batch of orders here so we can get more money to get more sizes. But we have a bunch of XL, double XL, 3XL. So maybe for a gift, uh, the merch there. But the merch is definitely one big way you could support us. Like again, we're trying to get to New Orleans and fund that because we want to get to Super Bowl Radio Row. It will be the fourth consecutive year. Wow, yeah, pretty cool. We did it in LA, we did it in Phoenix, we did it in Las Vegas. So we're trying to go 4 years in a row, and that costs money. So that'd be one way to help us out there, Worm, either with the contributing money here to the chat or to the merch side. Whatever you can, no pressure. That will, but anything you can provide will be really greatly appreciated, Evan. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm a salesman here, but I'm just
No, I was just gonna
laying out
say,
the facts
honestly,
here.
just commenting and
Hmm.
liking, just that helps us as well because when you guys comment and you guys like our posts and we continue to get more subs as well, that also helps. So that's
Yes.
another way you guys help as well. So we really appreciate everyone. I really enjoy having these conversations with everybody. It's been great as a community to be able to grow this. And
Yeah.
honestly, we're here for you guys. So
Hmm.
thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
Gilbert's at SoFi today, and yeah,
Yeah. No question is silly, and you know I know that people get frustrated with the media for not asking the questions you want to hear. But we're always here to have a good discussion, engage back and forth. So whatever you want to talk about regarding the NFL or the Rams, we're here to hear everything. We've heard a lot of weird things, but that's what makes it a good conversation because if we all have the same opinion, then there's nothing to talk about.
exactly. All right, come a couple more comments, Gilbert, and we'll get you going here. ESG says it's not just the Rams this past weekend. The NFL offenses were awful. And
Yeah.
honestly, Gilbert, a lot we've been talking about it. Make sure you check us out on Compas on the B. We have two other shows, but we've been saying like the defenses have caught up to these offenses. The defensive coordinators deserve a lot of credit here too because they've made the adjustment.
Yeah, I guess the only good offensive game was a no defense game between the Bengals and the Ravens, and that was fun for everybody. For
Yeah.
me, I need a little more defense. I hate the very one sided games there, like, all defense or all offense. No, I need a little bit of versatility. But now that I think about it, ESG, it was a little rough. Even the Commanders Steelers game was a little bit of a letdown. But went pretty quiet. There was some good fit. The Buccaneers 49er game was pretty good, but not very high explosive game.
The
Uh,
Saints Falcons was another one that was like
it was a good ending, but I don't know if I
right.
explosive. So I want to say you're right, ESGB. But then Thursday was really hard to top. That was a lot of offensive
Yeah.
football there.
It's like when someone just knocks it out, like like you have a opener for a concert, and you're like, "How do I follow
Yeah.
that?" And I think that's how the rest of the NFL was just like, "Yeah, we're not going to be able to compete with Bengals
Even
Ravens."
Sunday night football was kind of a dud for me. I
Yeah,
didn't really watch that, and then tonight was pretty bad.
yeah. I mean, that second half was ridiculous by the Lions, but yeah, you're right. The Worm says, "Don't feel silly, Gilbert. It is genius to run the same run up the middle play call every time on first down."
Yeah,
So
the running plays were strange. I felt like it was more like, hey, Jonah Jackson's back, and Steve Ivy like run up the middle. Let's get these gaping
yeah.
holes there. They're not there at all. But it was strange. They couldn't run the football well.
Okay, we got one more question here from Evan. He wants to know, how do I add stickers?
Evan, good point because I'm on the other side looking at this, but I want to say if your computer says live on the comments and it says on the side star, that'll be one way to do it.
Yeah.
But I should probably look at it when I'm not looking as a
Yeah,
host.
yeah, because I mean they've been able, the worm and uh who was it? And Jorge have been able, they figured it out. So
Yeah.
if you're still having issues, let us know, and then we'll see how we can help you there, Evan, for the next for our next recording here. I want to get to these comments real quick. ESG says Goff throws 5 interceptions and Lions still wins the game. Make it make sense. Yeah, that's another one where, yeah, I mean that's just how it is sometimes, man. That's
Tyreek Hill 16 yards and they still win the game.
yeah. And then Happy Gilmore, I know he's a Rams fan, but he's like pathetic performance of the Lambs. So he's a lot of frustrated Ram fans for sure, and we feel you in this one. It was a rough performance for the Rams, but they have they can get back on the horse as they say, and get a win against the New England Patriots on the road, and things would be they'll be back at 500 again if they can do that. So the season's not over.
Yeah.
The
Well,
sky's not falling, but
next
yeah,
week the Seahawks and the 49ers play each other. Maybe the
you know.
Seahawks beat the 49ers and that could help out the Rams there, and the Rams beat the Patriots, right? So
Hmm.
they could easily get back into it next week. And
There
the
you go.
Cardinals are on a bye week, so they're not playing.
Yeah, but right now you just need to worry about yourself. If you're the Rams, you're on a short week now because you played on Monday night, and then you got a East Coast game, Gilbert, at 10 a.m. So, but we'll be back Wednesday night as we usually do to break down and preview that game between the Rams and the Patriots. But for this one, Gilbert, thank you for being at SoFi and giving us your insights there. It's awesome to have somebody there at the games. But yeah, a tough loss for the Rams in this game, but got to look forward now. That's why it's not a sprint; it's a marathon.
Yeah, no, it's time to look ahead. And a quick shout out to everybody contributing to the show in various ways, either with the like or just commenting. Jorge, being true to his word and buying merch for the bet that he lost there. And the worm contributing money to kind of feel better. Donating money is a good way to help here, so to feel better. The worm did that here by donating $10 to us here. We appreciate it. And even just Evan trying to learn how to contribute with the sticker super like, I don't know either. That also means a lot to me because you're thinking about it. So we appreciate that. The worm says, "Love you guys. You're doing God's work. Go Rams there." So yeah, thank you for the comment there and the support, worm.
Yeah, Gilbert. Yeah, let's put this one away now. It's time for you to go home. You've
Yeah,
been at SoFi for what, 5 hours now,
yeah. I got
maybe
here like at
six.
2:30,
Oh,
whatever
you've been out there almost 8 hours, Gilbert. So 7 hours if I
that is.
do the math right. It's time for you to go home. It's time for us to put this game to rest now. But thanks to everybody. Shout out to everybody. Let me go through it. The Warm, Happy Gilmore, ESG, Evan Holtz, Delbert Salgado, Jorge Rodriguez, Daniel Calderon. Yeah, just awesome to see the comments. We really appreciate it. But yeah, It's time for Gilbert to go home
Yeah,
from SoFi. So thank you again, Gilbert. But go ahead and put this one to bed now.
yeah. And last thing, if you're a veteran, if you served this country, thank you for your service, and hopefully you enjoyed the day, Veterans Day, behind the banner there. Salute to service. That's pretty cool, actually. But time to get going here on to week 11 in the NFL. Wow, already week 11.
Yeah.
But on that note, ya nos vamos, pues, vámonos.